Hey everybody, I'm Asian Funk. Welcome back to my channel, and in this video I want to talk about going to the Sac-Con 2020 this Sunday. This is Snake. Postponed. Why? Coronavirus. No!
Warning, the following video is for mature adult audiences only. It contains explicit language and extreme visuals that is not suitable for or aimed towards viewers under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, damn, that sucks. So this coming Sunday, I was really excited to be going to the Sac-Con 2020, which is a comic book convention in Sacramento. But unfortunately, it was postponed to June 7th due to the coronavirus outbreak and the recommendation that no gathering over 250 people should happen, which is totally fair, makes sense, all for it. I was actually kind of curious when we were going to get that notification that it was going to be postponed, just because a lot of cons, especially the big ones around this time of year, are either being canceled or postponed. So this would have been my first time attending this particular convention. It's a one-day event. It's like $10 to get in. I was very excited. They had some pretty big name comic creators as well as some celebrities. They had Ron Lim, who is best known for his work on the Infinity War saga and basically a ton of Silver Surfer comics. Dan Brereton, who is like one of my favorite illustrators right now. His work has spanned both Marvel and DC. Alex Saviuk, he's a legendary 90s Spider-Man artist. Dante Basco, the actor who played Rufio in that Robin Williams movie Hook. He also voiced Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is pretty sweet. Now, what made this convention even more exciting was the fact that CGC was going to be in attendance. CGC doesn't attend a lot of conventions in Northern California. CGC is based in Florida and attends most of the major East Coast and Midwest conventions. I mean, they only really come over to California for like San Diego Comic-Con, WonderCon, and some other one in Southern California. Basically, they only come to Southern California ones. The fact that they actually were going to have a representative at the Sacramento convention was pretty exciting. I mean, they literally had CGC at the top of their guest list, so it must be a big deal. Now, just to clarify for those of you who aren't familiar with the whole CGC witnessing process, in order to get a yellow label on a CGC book, you have to have a witness from CGC be there to watch the comic creator sign the book. And so what that means is have him follow me around to whoever I wanted to get a signature from or a sketch or whatever, and then bring that book back to his booth to have it submitted or whatever. It's a really weird process, and it sounds great in theory until there's like a whole line of people waiting to do the same thing. So that's why my concern is that if there's only one guy working, he's basically going to be busy. Because if I have several books that I want witnessed, I'm sure other people will too. Alex Saviuk was the first comic creator to say that he wouldn't be able to make it. And so as soon as I saw that announcement, I already knew that it was just a matter of time before either more creators were going to cancel or the entire convention was just going to be shut down. Now, here's what I was hoping would happen at the convention before I found out that it was going to be postponed. Now, I'm pretty familiar with Ron Lim and his work. I know there are a couple YouTubers out there like Long Box Love Affair. He totally loves Ron Lim. So yeah, I thought it would have been cool to get Infinity War #1 signed by him over here. I'll show a picture of the book without the cutout. As you can tell, I was prepared to go to this convention and have him sign it. This is, I think, one of my favorite covers of his. This is actually a wraparound, which I'll show over here. But yeah, I taped it and then cut out a little area here for him to sign. I also like this cover because it has a ton of characters on it. And like I said, it's not only a wraparound, but it's actually a gatefold. So that means this cover page opens up and then opens up again. Basically, the whole back cover is like 3 giant panels of just characters. One of my local comic shops, Cape and Cowl, they've been having actually a lot of exclusive covers lately, and they actually released this one, I think, last year, which is pretty sweet. This is Deadpool, I think, #1, and I'll show what this looks like without the cutout. but this is actually a parody cover of another exclusive cover that Cape and Cowl had. And so this entire cover is actually a Ron Lim cover, which is pretty sweet, based off of a Jamal Campbell cover. But both of these variants are Cape and Cowl Oakland exclusive variants. So yeah, it would have been pretty sweet to have gotten him to sign this. You know, you can obviously tell this is set in Oakland. You've got the Oakland cranes in the background. Got the little welcome to Oakland sign in there. It's always fun. And it would be nice to have this next to the original variant. Finally, I wanted to ask for a sketch from him. It wasn't clear whether he was going to be accepting sketches, and if he was, whether I was going to be able to get to him in time or not. He's a pretty popular artist, and so I try to go to those very popular artists first as soon as the doors open, just to get on their list or their queue, because since this is a one-day event, they're probably only going to be doing, you know, a handful of sketches, maybe like 5 to 10 max. When I do see Ron in June, I'm going to ask him to sketch on this Spider-Man, I think 2025 variant. I've cut out most of the cover to kind of just, you know, border off the edges and kind of have him concentrate in the middle. But for this sketch, I was hoping to ask Ron to draw Spider-Man wearing the Infinity Gauntlet and just kind of being like either shocked how awesome it is with his spider sense going off, something like that. I usually throw out a couple ideas and see what excites the artist. Sometimes they'll just draw whatever you tell them. Sometimes they'll be inspired and then recommend something else or along those lines. And sometimes they'll just say, nah, I only want to draw these 3 things. You kind of have to be flexible in what you're asking for in terms of the sketch, because you never know what the artist is going to say. That's what my pitch was going to be for that sketch. The next artist attending the Sac-Con that I was very excited for was Dan Brereton. Like I said before, he's a pretty popular horror illustrator. And I'd met him once before, and that was I met him at Stockton Con for the first time last year. Didn't really know who he was or what he worked on, but I had seen his work before. And for those of you watching, if you guys have seen this Captain America Living Legend #2 variant by Dan Brereton, or if you know someone who owns this and wants to sell it, let me know, because I've been looking for this everywhere, and I'm not going to pay $350 for this on eBay. So if you have this or know somebody who does and wants to sell it, let me know. I'm looking. I want it. Just comment down below. Hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. Let me know. These are a couple of books I had just discovered that he'd worked on, which are pretty awesome. This is Frankencastle 21. Basically, this is like the beginning of the Punisher being turned into Frankenstein. He actually starts out as like a monster hunter, which is amazing. But this cover is really awesome. It just has like that classic vintage horror monster vibe to it. And it's got all the classic characters. It's got like Man-Thing, Werewolf, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy. I want to say that's Ghost Rider, but I'm not going to verify if that's him or not. I might change my mind on where I'm going to have him sign it, but I selected this area right here just because this was the lightest area and the least busy. His signature is kind of small and swirly, so it would have blended in with the art, which I don't want. I want it to pop, which is why I chose this lighter area. But we'll see if I change my mind. But for now, this is where I wanted him to sign it. The next book I wanted him to sign is this Iron Fist #1. Like I said, he's very well known for his horror illustrations. And I just like this horror take on Iron Fist. Really sweet to get a signature up here in like a silver marker. Because right here, it's just basically dark, even though you can see a little bit of like a monster silhouette in the shadows. But I think that would have been okay to sign over, who cares. And last, I would have asked him to do a sketch on this Wolverine the Best There Is #1. This is another blank variant. I just like how this variant has the parental advisory, not for kids, which is pretty sweet. I think in this one, I was gonna ask him to sketch Mystique, who is a shapeshifter type character, and then having one of her arms shifting to Wolverine with the claws popped out. Kind of in the vein of like the Frank Miller Wolverine cover. I don't know if he would have done that, but that's what I would have asked. Again, I guess we'll see in June. Last but not least, I am not a huge fan of Alex Saviuk, but he did do a few covers that I thought were really interesting and cool. One of those is Spider-Man Adventures number 15. This is a cool cover with the lizard choking the hell out of Spider-Man. I actually debated between this cover and another cover with Kraven the Hunter on it. A lot of people voted for this, which I thought was surprising. He's a villain that hasn't been put to screen yet, so I figured a lot of people would have wanted that cover over this, just because you don't really see the lizard, you just see his hands, which is pretty neat though. But anyway, yeah, a lot of people wanted this, and so yeah, I decided to choose this one. I don't know how much he charges for signatures. If I still have some money left, I was debating about getting this Avatar, The Last Airbender cover, which I'll put right here, and bring that to get signed by Dante Basco. Not for me. I actually have a brother-in-law who's a huge fan of The Last Airbender, and so I would have bought this book and had him sign it, and then would have given it to him after it got CGC'd and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.